The first time I saw him, I was standing in front of a canvas that looked like chaos and heartbreak had bled onto it. Damien stepped up beside me, silent at first. "That looks like someone died," he said, arms crossed, lips curved in a slow grin. I glanced at him. "Or maybe someone finally started living," he laughed, not mocking, more like I'd said something clever. "Same thing, isn't it? That's how it started, not with fireworks, with curiosity." I didn't even notice how close he was until I could smell the soft trace of spice and cedar on his jacket. "You like art?" I asked. "I like watching people look at it," he replied. "It shows me what they're hiding, and what am I hiding?" His eyes, pale and sharp, flicked to mine. "Loneliness, but not the kind you show." That was the first time I felt him crawl under my skin. We left together. I didn't know how it happened, but we were suddenly outside on the pavement, walking like old lovers. "You want coffee?" he asked. "It's past midnight." "So," he smirked, "let's break a rule." By the second date, he was already calling me baby. By the third, I let him kiss me in the rain like we were in a movie. "You taste like rain and regret," he whispered, hand sliding under my soaked shirt. I shivered. "Is that a compliment?" "It's worship." We moved fast. He brought me flowers wrapped in pages from books, wrote me post-it notes and stuck them on my mirror. "You're not allowed to doubt how beautiful you are." He'd pick my earrings for me when I dressed up, said I looked best in silver. "You're my calm," he'd whisper in bed, pulling me closer after. "Everything goes quiet in my head when I'm inside you." I melted every time he said things like that. I thought it was love. "You don't need anyone else," he said one night while lighting a cigarette on my balcony. "I'm all you'll ever need." I laughed, but it got caught in my throat. "That's a bold thing to say." "I mean it, even Maya?" I teased, knowing she and I had dinner plans the next night. His lips twitched. "She talks too much. She's my best friend," he exhaled. "You've got me now." I blinked. That should have been a red flag. But instead, I kissed him to shut him up. Sometimes I'd be texting someone and catch him watching me, not just curious, but studying my reactions. Like he needed to know what I was feeling so he could adjust. "You okay?" I asked once. When I saw that look, of course, he smiled. "I just don't like sharing." "With who?" "Anyone." One night, I woke up to him brushing my hair back while I slept. "Can't sleep?" I mumbled. "I just like watching you." That time, I didn't melt. Something about it felt off, but I smiled anyway, because I loved him, or I thought I did. "I ever tell you about my ex?" he asked, one evening as we sat on the floor with wine and no music. "Nope, she cheated on me." Said I was too intense. My heart pinched. "I'm sorry." She was weak. "You're not." I blinked. "That's not fair to her." He looked at me. The silence stretched too long. "You're defending her?" "No," I whispered. "Just, people make mistakes, not me," he said, sipping. "I calculate." It was the first time I wondered what kind of mind I'd tangled myself with. After sex, when he held me, his hands always gripped too tightly, just tight enough to make sure I remembered who I belonged to. He called it passion. I called it something I couldn't name yet. "I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. Maya snapped, arms crossed, eyebrows raised. I leaned on the counter, my thumb hovering over the coffee machine button. "I've just been busy. With him, it's not like that. It's exactly like that," she said. "I texted you. I called. You didn't reply." I frowned. "I never got those." Maya held up her phone. "Here, see? Dozens of messages, all left on read." My stomach turned. "I didn't see any of these." "I swear." She looked at me, then passed me toward the closed bedroom door. "Is he here?" "No, he's at work." "Then we can talk." Without the echo of his shadow. Later, when she left, I checked my phone again. I scrolled through message history. Empty. Erased. I sank onto the edge of the bed and stared at the screen. Had I deleted them? Or had he? That night, as we lay in bed, I asked softly, "Did you see any messages from Maya on my phone?" He turned toward me slowly. "Why?" "Because They're gone, Damien smiled gently, brushing his fingers down my arm. She's always so negative about us. I just didn't want her noise in your head. You deleted them? I protected you, he whispered. You trust me, don't you? Then why question everything I do for us? After that, he started picking my outfits. That dress is too short. These earrings make you look sad. Red suits you. Wear that. At first, it felt like love, like attention. I told myself it was sweet, until one day, I reached for my denim jacket and he said, "Not that. It's too desperate." Desperate? I asked. You look like you're trying too hard. He kissed my forehead. You don't have to. You have me. You cancelled on game night, Maya said, arms folded, standing at my door like an accusation. I forgot. Or he made you forget. That's not fair. Neither is pretending you're okay when you look like a ghost in highlighter. I'm just tired. She stepped closer. You used to laugh so loud the neighbors banged on the walls. Now you ask permission to breathe. I blinked. No, I don't. He tells you who to see, what to wear, when to smile, and you call it love. I'm fine. She tilted her head. Are you? That night, I wore the denim jacket out of spite. Damien saw me, his smile tight. Didn't we talk about that jacket? I like it. He leaned in close. You're starting to sound like her, Maya, he nodded. She's bitter, single, jealous. She's my best friend. People outgrow friendships, especially toxic ones. Toxic? He kissed me harder than I liked and whispered, "You only need me." Days passed. My phone buzzed less. Maya stopped texting. I didn't reach out. Every time I thought about it, his voice echoed. She's jealous. She's noise. You have me. So I stayed quiet. He smiled more, and I smiled less. You okay? He asked one night as I stared at my untouched pasta, just tired. You've been saying that a lot lately. I looked at him. You ever think maybe I'm not tired, just disappearing? He chuckled. You're being dramatic, am I? You're overwhelmed. I get it. You don't have to see anyone. Just rest. Stay home. With me, the next week, I opened Instagram and realized I hadn't posted in months. I used to post art, food, sketches. Now, it was blank. Erased. Like I'd stopped being me. Do you miss who you were? Maya asked, voice low. When we bumped into each other outside a grocery store, I hesitated. I don't know. She reached out, her hand on my shoulder. That's how they win. When you forget the sound of your own voice. I looked down. He says you're jealous. She laughed, bitter and beautiful. And what do you say? I don't know what I think anymore. Then let me remind you, she said, backing away. He's a red flag in designer shoes. And you're barefoot in a minefield. I watched her walk away. Damien called 2 minutes later. Where are you? Running errands. With who? No one. You sure? Yes. Okay. Just be home soon. I will. I hung up, stared at my reflection in the car mirror. I didn't recognize the eyes staring back. I'm just asking a question, I said quietly. Damien didn't answer. He just blinked, slow, deliberate, like I was boring him. I tried again. Did you move my brushes? Still nothing. Then finally, why do you always assume I'm the one messing with your stuff? I didn't say you did. You implied it. He leaned back against the counter. You always do that. I just asked. Calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. The air snapped, brittle and sharp. I nodded, lips pressed together, heart thudding too loud. Silence filled the room like smoke. Heavy, suffocating. That was the first time I realized silence could scream louder than words. He didn't yell. He never hit me. No bruises. Nothing visible, but I stopped painting after that. I stopped laughing too. One night at dinner, I laughed a little too loud at something the waiter said. Damien's fork paused mid-air. His eyes met mine. Just that one long, cold stare. I shrank inside my skin. When the waiter walked away, I whispered, "What?" "Nothing," he said, slicing his steak. "You just looked like you were enjoying that a little too much." He told a joke. "You're not usually that giggly." I was being polite. "You were being flirty." I blinked. "Are You serious? He didn't answer, just chewed. I didn't touch the rest of my food. Later that night, in the bathroom, I stared at the cracked mirror I kept ignoring. The crack ran down the center like a scar no one wanted to admit was there. I touched it, then I opened the voice recorder on my phone and whispered, "You're not crazy. You're not wrong. You were just loud once." And they hated that. I had a weird dream last night, I said one morning, pouring coffee. Damien didn't look up. I was on a stage, but no one was listening. I was screaming, but the audience was just smiling. He took a sip. That's dramatic. I think it means something. It means you're reading too many self-help quotes. I set my mug down. Do you even hear yourself? What's that supposed to mean? I don't know. I shook my head. Nothing. Forget it. He didn't press. He never did when it mattered. I started talking to myself, quietly, secretly. A night, under the blanket, I'd whisper into the recorder, "He doesn't hit me, but he makes me feel like I'm nothing. Is it still abuse if you're smiling while it happens?" Maybe if I record it, I'll believe myself. At his company's work party, I met Elena. She was beautiful in that tragic way, smudged eyeliner, perfect posture, eyes like thunderclouds. "Hi," she said, shaking my hand. "You must be the girlfriend," I nodded. "And you work with Damien?" "For 3 years." Her smile was polite, strained. "How long have you two been together?" "Almost a year." "That long, huh?" Her gaze flicked toward him. "He's intense, right?" I laughed softly. "Yeah, but passionate." She looked at me like she wanted to say something, but she didn't. She just nodded, took a sip of wine, and walked away. I never forgot the way she looked back at me once before disappearing into the crowd. It wasn't pity. It was recognition. "Did you talk to Elena?" Damien asked in the car. "Yeah." "Why?" "She's weird. Stay away from her." "Why?" "She's obsessed with me." "We had a thing. It ended badly." "Was she your ex?" "She wanted to be." "I didn't." "Oh." He reached over, took my hand, and squeezed. "You're not like her." "You're better." I nodded, but something about his tone chilled me. Back home, I listened to one of my recordings. "You think I'm crazy, don't you? That's what abusers want you to think. That it's your fault. That your feelings are fake. That silence is normal. That love looks like being watched instead of being seen." I closed my eyes and hit record again. Maybe I'm not the crazy one after all. "You didn't even leave a note?" And Rena asked, handing me tea with chipped nails and worried eyes. I didn't want him to know I was alive. I stared into the cup like it had answers. I needed him to believe I disappeared. "You scared the hell out of me." "I know." "I'm sorry." She sat beside me, gently brushing my newly dyed hair back. "Blonde suits you though." "New face. New name?" "Just the name." I almost forgot mine. I threw out my SIM card on the bus ride out of town, blocked his number, deleted our pictures, even burned the red sweater he liked. It smelled like him. Too much like him. "You've been quiet," Dr. Kieran said, her voice soft but firm. I stared at the ceiling. "Words feel fake sometimes." "They're not. They're how we reclaim ourselves." I exhaled. "He didn't hit me." "I know." "He didn't scream." "He didn't break anything." "Just me." She waited. I sat up, voice low. "He didn't break me. He trained me to break myself." That's a powerful truth. I used to think I was just sensitive. Dramatic. Too much. "You were gaslit. Is that what it's called?" She nodded. "What else would you call it when someone makes you question your own reality?" I spent weeks like that. Silent mornings, long walks, no mirrors. I wore lipstick again. Not because anyone told me to, but because I chose cherry red. For once, I liked what I saw. "You don't check his socials anymore?" And Rena asked while folding laundry. "Nope, not even once." Tempted, but no. She looked impressed. "You're stronger than I was at your age." "I don't feel strong." "You don't have to feel it. You just have to be it." I folded a towel slowly. "What if he finds me?" "Then you remind him who left who." "I talked in therapy today." I told her one night over wine. "Oh yeah?" I said his name out loud. She grinned. And it didn't feel like it owned me anymore. Dr. Kieran asked, when did you realize it was abuse? I hesitated. The day he said I didn't need friends, that he was all I'd ever need. She leaned forward. And you believed him? For a while, until my voice started fading. She tilted her head. You got it back. I'm trying. That's what healing is. Trying. I recorded a new voice note before bed. You're not a victim. Not anymore. You left. You chose silence over screams. You chose you. I pressed play and let my own voice lull me to sleep. For the first time in months, I didn't dream of him. Hi, I said, my voice shaking more than I expected. Elena looked up from her untouched coffee. You came. I wasn't sure you'd say yes. She offered a tight, tired smile. I wasn't sure I would either. We sat in the back of the cafe, far from anyone who might know either of us. Her hands trembled slightly as she held the cup. Her nails were short, bitten. Her makeup was minimal, like she couldn't be bothered to hide anymore. He did the voice thing with you too, didn't he? I asked. She nodded slowly. The soft tone, like every time he disappointed you was your fault. I exhaled. God. Yes. She sipped her drink, then set it down again. I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was broken. You weren't, she said. You just met Damien. She pulled a small notebook from her bag and slid it across the table. He called it therapeutic journaling, said it would help me work through my baggage. I hesitated. He made you do that too? Every night, I had to write my thoughts, my doubts, my fears, especially the ones about him. I flipped through it. Her handwriting was tight and panicked. Sometimes I feel like I don't deserve him. Maybe I'm the problem. I laughed at a joke today. Damien didn't talk to me for hours after. Why do I feel guilty for breathing? I closed the journal gently. He used this against you? She laughed once, bitter and hollow. Every argument, he'd quote my pages back to me, twist them, weaponize them. I'm not the only one, I whispered. That makes it worse. And better. She met my eyes for the first time since we sat down. You got out, barely. He still messages me. From fake numbers, emails, even LinkedIn. I flinched. He doesn't know where I am now. She looked at me sharply. Good. Don't let him find out. I stared at my reflection for hours last night. I admitted, waiting to see if you were still there. Yes, Elena nodded. I know that feeling, like you don't recognize your own face, I think. I want to do something. She raised an eyebrow. Like what? Warn others. Or destroy him. Or both. She leaned back. That's dangerous, I know, but not impossible. We sat in silence for a long time. Then she said, he's built a whole life on charm and control. People don't believe the ones who survive him. They believe the ones who smile best. I'm done being silent. She smirked, just slightly. Then let's be loud. I walked home with the journal in my bag. That night, I looked in the mirror again, but this time, I didn't look away. I didn't think you'd actually call, Damien said, stepping inside my apartment like he still owned the air I breathed. I smiled, soft and careful. I've been thinking about you. His eyes darkened. You always say the right things. When you're lonely, you're not the only one who gets lonely, Damien. He looked around. New place? Fresh start, I said. Or pretending to have one, he chuckled. Still dramatic, and you're still charming. I offered him a drink, red wine, of course. He liked when things looked like seduction. He never noticed my fingers trembled just a little. Not fear, just rage. He lifted the glass. To second chances, I clinked it. To finishing what we started. We talked like ex-lovers. Close, cautious. He touched my wrist as I laughed too hard at one of his recycled stories. You missed me, he whispered. I missed the way you touched me, I said, voice low. The way you used to make me feel seen. You always were seen, baby. No, I wasn't. Not really, but I nodded anyway. Later, his hand slid across my back. His breath ghosted against my skin like it used to. You still smell like vanilla, he murmured into my neck. I never changed it, I lied. We ended up in my bed. I let him believe I melted under him. I let the moan slip out when he wanted it. I let him think I was falling all over again, but I was watching the blinking red light behind the mirror. Afterward, he lay beside me, smug and sleepy. You still feel like home, he said. I turned to him, brushing my fingers along his jaw. You still feel like control, he laughed. Control's not always a bad thing. I kissed him once, then again, slower. I love the way you destroy people. Damien, he blinked, confused. What? I smiled. The knife was in the smile now. It makes my revenge more satisfying. He sat up. What the hell does that mean? I reached beneath the bed and pulled out the voice recorder. Still blinking, that's been on the entire time. His eyes narrowed. You wouldn't, already did, delete it. I raised an eyebrow. Like you deleted my self-worth? My privacy? My identity? This is illegal, he said, voice sharp now. So was gaslighting me into thinking I was insane. He stood up, grabbing his shirt. You're crazy, no? You made me think I was. There's a difference. You're not going to get away with this. I stepped closer. You thought you were playing me. But baby, I built the damn game. He stormed out, slammed the door so hard the frame shook. That's when Leo knocked. Everything okay? He asked, eyes scanning me. I nodded. It's done. Are you okay? I laughed, short and breathless. I don't even know what that means anymore. He looked past me into the apartment. Did you get what you needed? I held up the recorder. Every word. Leo nodded once. Good. I collapsed onto the couch, heart racing. Not from Damien's touch, but from surviving it. This time, the tears weren't fake. This time, they were mine. You sent it to his boss? Leo asked, watching me with a mixture of awe and concern. I nodded. Along with timestamps and the journal pages Elena gave me. His eyebrows lifted. You're not messing around. No, I said quietly. Not anymore. He didn't go to jail. Not the legal kind, but I heard from a girl on Instagram, one of his interns. He's been on leave since Monday. No one says why. I didn't reply. I just tapped the voice memo app. Welcome back, I said softly into the mic. This is episode 1. I call it the apology I was trained to give. Elena messaged me that night. He's spiraling. Just posted a poem on his story. Black and white photo. Very wounded artist vibes. I sent back a laughing emoji. Let him perform. The audience knows now, Mrs. Voss called me 2 days later. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Her voice was shaky. Is this Maya? It is. Silence. Then, he's not well. I didn't say anything. She sniffled. He said you're ruining his life. I haven't touched a thing, I replied. I just held the mirror up. He's drinking, she whispered, crying. He said you twisted everything. No, Mrs. Voss. He did. He's my son, and I was your daughter-in-law. Kind of, she exhaled. Why didn't you come to me? Because I tried to come to him. Silence. Did he really say those things to you? Every night. Another pause. Then quietly, I believe you. The next message came from his friend Nick. Bros off the grid. Group chat's dead. Nobody knows where he is. You good? I didn't answer, but I did smile. In my podcast draft folder, the titles wrote themselves. Episode 2, Love Bombed and Gaslit. Episode 3, How to Cry on Command Lessons from Damien. Episode 4, Why I Stayed, Why I Left, Why I Don't Regret Either. Elena met me at the park. Did you see what he posted? She asked, holding out her phone, a black screen, just white text. When everything is gone, will she still be proud of herself? I raised an eyebrow. Very Shakespeare meets Reddit. I think he's trying to guilt you. He trained me for that. Doesn't work anymore, she grinned. You're really doing it. I'm just telling the truth. No, she said. You're freeing people. Leo dropped off the mic equipment the next day. You sure about this? He asked. No, I said honestly. But I'm not scared either, he nodded. I listened to the raw cut. Yeah, he looked at me. You didn't sound broken, I smiled. That's because I'm not. 2 weeks later, I got a DM from unknown account. You'll never stop talking about me, will you? I stared at it for a long moment. Then I typed, no, I don't need to. You never shut up about yourself either. Blocked. Deleted. Gone. You think he'll come back? Elena asked one night, sitting on my floor, sipping wine. He's already back, I said, lifting my phone. She squinted. Podcast stats? 10,000 plays. Her eyes widened. In a week? I nodded. She tilted her head. What if he hears it? I shrugged. He won't recognize himself. Narcissists never do. I opened a new recording. This one's for the girl who still thinks it's her fault, I said softly. For the one who apologized every time. She cried. For the one who thought love meant surviving someone else's storms. I paused. Then, he's losing everything. And I didn't touch a thing. Which one's yours again? Leo asked, squinting at the tall white walls. I gestured behind me. That one. The one that looks like a storm decided to bleed. He tilted his head. It's brutal, but beautiful, exactly how it felt. He folded his arms. You never said you were painting again. I wasn't. Not until I stopped dreaming in flashbacks. The gallery buzzed quietly around us. People drifted, whispered, admired. But I stayed still, grounded. Leo pointed at the thick streaks of black slashing across the canvas. What does this part mean? That's the part where I begged. He nodded slowly. And this? Where I stopped. I hadn't planned on showcasing it. It was supposed to live in my bedroom, just mine. But one night, I stared at it too long and realized it wasn't pain anymore. It was proof. Do you still think about him? Leo asked, not looking at me. Not really, liar, I sighed. Fine, sometimes, but not in the way you think. How then? I don't miss him. I miss who I thought he was. I miss the illusion of being loved. He glanced over. That's honest. I got tired of lying, even to myself. Was it ever love? He asked. I turned fully toward him. He called it love, but you? I call it psychological warfare. He winced a little. Harsh, true. A woman walked by, paused at my piece, and tilted her head. Her lips parted slightly, like it hit her somewhere deep. Leo noticed. You see that? I nodded. That's why I put it here. Not for him, for her, for anyone who sees themselves in the mess. You know, he said after a pause. Most people would have tried to erase it all. Move on. Forget, I'm not most people. No? You're the one who survived and then turned the wreckage into art. I looked at the canvas again. I didn't survive to pretend it didn't happen. What did you survive exactly? Myself? Mostly. The version of me that believed pain was love. That silence was strength. That if I just fixed myself enough, he'd stop breaking me. Leo stayed quiet for a long moment. Then he asked, do you love yourself now? I thought about it. Really thought. I love my peace, I said. I love my space. I love waking up and not feeling like I'm on trial. He smiled. Sounds like power. It is. A young guy walked past and muttered, heavy peace. I almost laughed. You have no idea. Leo stepped closer. What about the scars? What about them? You hide them well. I glanced at him. They're mine to show. Or not. The lights above dimmed slightly as the gallery entered its final hour. I whispered, some wars don't end in death. He looked at me. They end in survival. He nodded. And survival looks good on you. It feels good too. We stood in front of my painting a while longer, not speaking, just breathing, just existing, and for once, that was enough.